Wow, it is another wonderful and very powerful opportunity to bring you another version of success, leadership, and national development. I'm your host and your brother and your friend, Reverend Barr.Ikenna Emmanuel. I am the president of the Faith House Leadership Churches worldwide. I'm also the president of iGold. iGold means Initiative for Good Governance, Leadership and Economic Development. I also want everyone that is watching me today to understand that you and I have a very important role to play in the development and the transformation of our society, especially if you are a Nigerian and also you are an African. I have this very wonderful passion and vision that God has deposited in my life to help people become the best, to help people develop their leadership abilities with a view to making sure that they get themselves involved in the development of their environment. Otherwise known as the transformation of the environment. And absolutely, I am a child of God, and I believe so strongly that as a lawyer, as a politician, as a businessman, as a leadership consultant, and as one that works with a whole lot of thousands of young people, that if we want to have unusual civilization, transformation in the continent of Africa and in Nigeria, it begins with a set of people. I am talking about no other group of persons but the church. And this is one of the reasons why today I'll be handling how the Nigerian church can transform the whole of Nigeria and Africa. I want you to know that as we get connected with each other, helping your vision to come to fruition, giving you the necessary financial, social connections, and other developmental processes that you need to go through. By the time we partner with you, you are going to see those visions in your heart come to materialization. Let me just go straight to my focus today on how or why the Nigerian church, or how the Nigerian church can actually bring transformation in Nigeria and in Africa. I have been part of the political process for some time now about the development of my wonderful state in Imo State, Nigeria. This is where I live, and this is where I've lived for a long time, just about few months that I've lived outside Imo State. And I've been part of the political process in my state with a view to reach out to other Nigerians. I've also been in ministry getting to about 2 decades plus now, and I know truly well that there's a whole lot that is locked up in the Nigerian church that can actually give birth to the transformation of this wonderful nation and the transformation of the continent of Africa as large. There are 3 things I'm going to talk about now. As time will permit, I'm going to do the part B of this series of discussion. I want us to understand that the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing is to stir up, is to create a positive revolution in the mind of several persons like you, several persons that will definitely come across this video, so that we can actually make a strong commitment towards making sure that things work better in our nation, Nigeria, in our continent, Africa. I'm so optimistic that the church remains the catalyst for national transformation. There has been a whole lot of quarreling. There's been a whole lot of agitations from different quarters in our nation, Nigeria, even in Africa, ranging from poverty, insecurity, poor education, inability to have access to the right education. People are malnourished. There is high level of activism in the negative, as people have been interested to overturn certain governments. There have been government cruelty. There has been a whole lot of demolition of systems that would have created a lot of platforms for people to get jobs. Our educational system is nothing to write home about in Nigeria and in several nations in Africa. When we look at the issue of our economy, the economy cannot be compared to the economy of several nations like in Europe and America, Asia, or what have you. And the issue is this: instead of us to sit up as a people and we're just complaining and we're just worried about the way things are, I believe so strongly, I'm part of the school of thought, persons from such school of thought, that if we engage the society as Christians, as followers of Christ, as believers, we can actually make a very strong contribution. We can actually do a whole lot of work in making sure that our nation and our continent becomes better. The number one prescription or provision or recommendation of how or why Christians or how Christians and believers can transform Nigeria and transform the continent of Africa, number one is this: we can transform Nigeria, we can transform Africa, number one, by translating the gospel that we have received to issues of societal compliance, translating the gospel that we listen to towards societal compliance or to societal compatibility. Until the gospel that we preach, until the preachings we receive in our churches from January to December, from Monday to Sunday, if we can actually translate it into the things that are happening in society, we are going to have a better security system, we are going to have a better educational system. If they are not compatible, there's going to be a parallel line expression in the things we do in the church when compared with the things we do outside. I've also found out that as a pastor, our people relate more with the outside world than within the church. I convincingly have seen it that until we begin to raise people, until we begin to mentor people that come to our churches to live a life worthy of emulation outside, we cannot experience this level of transformation that we desire in our nation, in our states, in our continent. A lot of people go to church on Sundays, a lot of people go to church on midweek days, and a lot of celebrations, a lot of dancing, a lot of preachings go on. But if we can actually translate these doctrines, these teachings, these expressions, these homiletics that have been dished out by very powerful men of God all over the world, who are from Nigeria, who are also from Africa, if we can translate them to issues of society, issues of governance, issues of politics, issues of economy, issues of educational transformation, issues of medical restoration, I want to let us know that we are going to very, very, very much have a better society than what we have today. I have this conviction that the word of God that we are hearing, or we do hear every day and every week, is not just something to make you happy while you are in church. The word of God that we hear every day, every week, or any other service days is capable of making somebody sane, is capable of making somebody become an issue or an agent of transformation. The word of God we hear every day and every week in our churches is capable of building industries, is capable of engaging people in the political sector, is capable of creating a lot of systems that can bring forth what we desire in this nation and in this continent. A good number of people are doing pretty good. A good number of churches that are doing pretty good, establishing schools, missionary schools. But I want to let us know that it's not enough. I was discussing with my people in our church of recent, that was last, of recent year. And I was talking to them about the issue of crime and insecurity. There's something I described as the back-end security system and the front-end security system. That's my own description about that. The front-end security system has to do with establishment of the Nigerian military, as it were. For example, the Nigerian police, the DSS, the custom officers, the correctional centers. Setting them up is like a frontline system of security, so that at the point where criminals or hoodlums want to do or commit a crime or want to get involved in something that is very cynical, something that is going to bring a certain level of anarchy in a particular community, location, city, or nation, or even continent, the presence of the military has a way of stopping them or restraining them from carrying out such activities to the detriment of society. That's very perfect. That's very wonderful. The second one is what I call the back-end security system, which has to do with the introduction of the Word of God, the nature of Christ, the values of Christ, the values of character, the values of responsibility, the values of love, the values of service, the values of spirituality. Once those values are installed in the hardware of our society, these are softwares, these are life-transforming softwares. When people are transformed, you don't need the Nigerian police. When people are transformed, people don't commit crime. When people are transformed by the word of the Lord, they don't get into adulteration or doing drugs. It is enough. It's not enough, rather, to put people in jail and allow them to stay inside a prison or condemn them with a view to, like, maybe separate them from the people, correctional centers, rehabilitate them, and then reintegrate them into society. If there is no introduction of the Word of God, if there is no introduction of the doctrines and the teachings we receive in our churches, those people cannot experience the transformation, and at the end, the society will not experience transformation. The second way the church in Nigeria can actually transform the continent of Africa and this particular nation in particular is to get involved in the issue of unemployment and unemployability. When we talk about unemployment, we'll find that unemployment is the inability of able-bodied, skilled people to get job. The inability of skilled and able-bodied people, young men who are willing to work, their inability to get work, or their inability to get the right kind of work, is what is called unemployment. So once there is the presence of unemployment in the system, it is going to affect the church, it's going to affect the people, it's going to affect the development of that particular society. Labor is critical in the development of any society. Unemployability has to do with certain levels of people who are willing to work, but they do not have the necessary skills to fit into their desired kind of work. Then when it has to do with underemployment, has to do with someone does not have the capacity, and this one also does not know how to get involved in the issue of gaining a very strong work for himself. So whether it's unemployment, underemployment, or unemployability, someone is unemployable. He can't employ him. He doesn't have the skills to be employed. Or someone has the skills to be employed, but he's doing something that he or she is something that is lower than what his certifications, his skills can offer. I want us to know something, that civilization, I want us to know something rather than revelation is subject to civilization. Globalization and civilization affects revelation. 20, 30 years ago, a whole lot has been going on that we are not supposed to be unequally yoked together with unbelievers. It has been the teaching that has been going on. But now, I want us to know that over time, things have changed. Things have changed in our country. Things have changed in our continent. Things have changed all over the world. So every believer now, we need to begin to look for alternative platforms to creating jobs for our people. Our people need to get jobs. Our people need to work in factories, not factories that have been created by people who do not know God, but factories that have been created by church systems. I want to encourage every pastor, every bishop, every prelate, every religious leader to understand that what God is desiring now is for us to begin to deal with the issue of unemployment, unemployability, and underemployment in Nigeria and in Africa. And this has to do with putting our resources together, meeting with each other, looking at best brains, startups and entrepreneurs, and small CEOs can put resources together, churches can put resources together, set up manufacturing companies, set up companies that are involved in fast-moving consumer goods and products, they set up systems for agriculture, set up systems for medical research, set up systems for medical sales and services, set up systems when it has to do with the issue of cybersecurity, information and communication technology. With that strong commitment by the church, I know strongly, I believe so strongly, that it can deal with the issue of underdevelopment. The reason why we are having so much crisis, insecurity, and kidnapping in Nigeria and Africa is because several of these young men, even though they know God, even though they have the fear of God, but as long as you and I, to someone says, an idle mind is the devil's workshop, it's a destructive workshop, we can actually deal with that when we begin to create employment platforms. I'm talking about employment platforms that can actually bring out the potentials and the abilities that are found in these young people. And finally, for today, the third area or the third provision by which the church in Nigeria can transform Nigeria and the continent of Africa is for every one of us to get involved in leadership positions. Currently, I have presented myself to run for the position of the next governor of Imo State. That's my state, Imo State, Nigeria, for the second time. I've been part of the political process, but I decided to do this after a lot of considerations. I lost in the last election. I decided to keep quiet and allow my way and keep quiet and do my church and practice as a lawyer and then get busy. But over time, I found out there is what is called commonwealth. There's a limit to what you can do as a person until you are in charge of the common resources of a particular people. There is no amount of philanthropy that you can do. There is no amount of philanthropy that I can do for 1 million people. It doesn't matter how rich you are. Nigeria is close to about 200-something million people. If we have all the philanthropies everywhere, dishing out resources in millions, I want to let you know, I thank God for the things that they are doing, very wonderful, powerful things that philanthropies are doing. But I want to let you know that the philanthropies in this nation, in the continent of Africa, in my state, Imo State, and in our nation, Nigeria, have not been able to satisfy the needs of the masses to the tune of about 4%. 4% is even too much. So let's have about 100%. You have about 96% untouched, because this philanthropy is just once in a while thing. But once we get involved in government, we can actually create an unusual system, an unusual platform like civilized nations like America, like United Kingdom, Canada, and all the rest of them. We can actually begin to create platforms so that people can actually have access to the commonwealth of that particular country and that particular nation, or that particular continent, or that particular state, or that particular community. So I want God's people to get involved. I want the church to get involved. I want everyone that is born of God to get involved. We can't afford to sit down on the fence or keep complaining. I want us to get into judiciary, yes, so that we can actually interpret laws, making sure that these laws become something that is formidable. I want us to get into the executive, where the laws they are made for the people. I want to also let every believer that is listening to me that we can't keep quiet when it has to do with law enforcement agencies. When there's law enforcement agency, the judiciary, the legislature, and the executive, we need to get involved. We need to go out and contest for election. 2023 is almost here. I want to encourage every believer that is in Nigeria and every believer that is in every nation never to keep away from politics, never to keep away from governance. Because I believe that those that make the decisions determine the processes, they determine the systems, they determine a whole lot that happens financially. This is very, very important. You might not be a politician, but your profession, anytime they're asking for somebody to lead them, please get involved. Your trade union, anytime they're asking for somebody to lead them, as long as you are a believer, get involved. Your community, whenever they're asking for somebody to lead them, please get involved. If you have the privilege to be the king of your place, please get involved. If you want to be part of His Royal Highnesses or Her Royal Highnesses, depending on your local government, depending on your community. Please don't shy away, because the kingdom of this world will soon become the kingdom of our God. Please get involved. If you're a nurse, you're a doctor, please join your association. Please get involved. Don't stay away from those people. When they make a decision that is contrary to the will of God, it's going to affect you, it's going to affect your future, it's going to affect your profession. Join the Nigerian police, join the Nigerian army, join the Nigerian immigration, join the Nigerian Medical Association. Everyone that is here that is a believer, join the Nigerian Association of Nurses and Midwives. Join, if you're an architect, join your group. If you're a lawyer, join the Nigerian Bar Association. Join each of these groups and aspire to be the leader. The more of godly people, transformed people, God-centered people in each of those places, I believe that we're going to have unusual transformation. This is what I need to let you know today, that number one, we need to translate our doctrines and our teachings to societal compatibility. The second one, we need to create opportunity for employment through system building for our young people. And the third one, we need to begin to engage the leadership of society. By the time we do that, we're going to have a very wonderful, solid state, solid community, solid nation, and solid continent. Till I see you next time, I remain your friend and your brother, Reverend Barr.Ikenna Emmanuel, the International President of IGOD. IGOD means Initiative for Good Governance, Leadership and Economic Development, and the President and the Senior Pastor of Faith House Leadership Churches worldwide. Please look at the screen. Let's get connected to see how we could help you. Let's be part of your vision. Let's see how we can support everything you're doing. And together we're going to make Nigeria powerful, and we're going to make the continent of Africa a better place. Till I see you next time, please make sure you click on the share button, share to your friends and your relatives. God bless you.